talk about this wild thing we call real estate, obviously, and what's happening here in our market here in Michigan. Yep. People want to know what's going on in the market. Are the prices dropping? Is the housing crash happening? And all the things. Like, what is really happening in the Metro Detroit area? That's what we service, and a little bit of Charlottesville.
Yeah.
A little far.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what question do we have today? Are the real estate prices dropping in Michigan?
Hell no to the na. Hell no to the na.
You heard it here first. No.
Real estate is not dropping in the state of Michigan. There are different pockets in Michigan that have some type of shifts where more so in northern Michigan, maybe a little bit on the west side of the state, but in the Metro Detroit area, we're not seeing that much of a drop in inventory or sales.
Now we're going towards a more balanced market. As you guys know, COVID happened, and what happened? Interest rates dropped, buyers picked up, the sale of houses and the price that they were going for was astronomical in a lot of places. So what has
resetting markets too.
Exactly. So what has happened since then is we were shooting up, and now you may think that it's coming down, but it's becoming more balanced and more level on the sale and buyer side. Has it gotten into 100% buyer's market? Not yet.
No.
But
for context, a buyer's market is about 5 to 6 months of inventory, and inventory means that we could stop listing houses today and we would be able to service the consumers for 5 months worth, 5 to 6 months worth, without having to list new houses. So we have fresh inventory every day, go on the market. Right now we're about, in January for context, we're up 2.2 months of inventory or supply for Metro Detroit area. Now we're pushing about 3 months of supply. So obviously we're still more so in the sell side for a balanced market, or for a seller's market versus a buyer's market, but we are ticking up to a more balanced market. But it is starting to trickle back up for inventory.
Yeah, and it's, so the sale of houses is a lot slower. The average days on market right now is about 47 days. Whereas you saw in history, like in 2020 through about 2022, maybe 23 a little bit, houses were flying off the shelves, like 3 days, 5 days, 7. I think the average sale was like 7 days on market back then, and now it's 47. So there's a difference in how it's becoming more balanced. Houses are still selling, and that's when you have to price competitively sellers, because it is slowing down. It is taking a lot longer to sell. Kind of make sure you do it price right, because what are we seeing more often than not? People decreasing their prices time and time again.
Right, and I think we've gotten to a point where, especially in like listing presentations, when we talk to sellers, we give them our best recommended price, and even, and this happened pushing the envelope essentially since COVID, is like, we basically reset the market every time. Like, we would list it at X, and then we would always get above listing price, which is still the case in some areas of Michigan, but we are now more so seeing that houses will sit if they're not priced accordingly, and we have a lot of external factors, interest rates, the jobs market, and all these different variables, housing supply. And so just ultimately, when you're listing the house, I just say, take what our number is and list it 3 to 5% under what our listing recommendation is, and you'll have multiple offers, and you can probably get the number in your mind that you think you want.
So he was saying, making sure you're pricing it right. And what we're seeing, don't get alarmed, sellers, because the prices are still rising.
Yes.
They're just rising slower than what we've seen in the past 5 years. So don't get alarmed. Houses are still going for very good dollar amounts, and the appreciation is still there year over year. We've seen nothing but increases. So don't be alarmed that, I can't get my house for what. Now you might not get $40,000 over asking, which is what we were seeing in 20 and 21, but you would still get the value just because of the appreciation that's happened over the last 5 years or 10 years, depending on how long you've been in your house. So it's there. Another key indicator about housing in Michigan, interest rates are a huge factor. So it impacts the affordability making some buyers more cautious about what they want. So, a lot of buyers are regretting not buying 5 years ago. But again, buying 5 years ago, man, put you at a good interest rate, but you might have paid $40,000 over what the house was worth too. And then when you go into, I'm gonna wait until the interest rates, which we hear that every single day. I'm gonna wait till the interest rates drop. Wait till the interest rates drop, and the house that you would think you were to buy this year will be $20,000 or $30,000 or $40,000 more next year. So don't wait to buy real estate.
Don't wait.
Buy real
Don't
estate
wait.
and wait. 100%.
I think that's such a interesting psychological thought process. You want to buy a house and you work so hard to save up to be able to have the down payment to be able to buy the house, but then at the end of the day you want to wait. And when you look at it from the interest rate perspective, if you wait and say the interest rate goes up a whole point, and that changes your monthly payment for the following year, and then the house also becomes more expensive to buy, and then you're looking at a higher interest rate
and a higher monthly
payment. So for perspective, I pay $17.23 a month, and that was my principal, interest, and tax.
And how much you pay for your house, Trevor?
$215. And if I bought, and going back to the houses I have sold, the people that have 3% interest rates, their monthly payment is pennies comparatively to what I paid, and we're talking eerily similar price points. And the reason I didn't buy is because I am a self-employed individual and I need to show
proof of income.
So unfortunately, I would have bought years ago, but being a self-employed individual, I had to wait. Now I'm in my situation because I'm a self-employed individual. I'm trying to help and serve my clientele to help buy houses and get you in the right. We're both trying to get you into your next home or your first home or your perfect home. But going back to that point is the longer you wait, isn't that always if you're just waiting on the interest rate to drop, your cost benefit analysis, call it, isn't necessarily always there. So I have friends that have a monthly payment of $800 a month, which is unheard of to think about, and I'm paying almost $1,700 a month, or over $1,700 a month. So take those couple factors and nuggets into consideration when you come back to the talking point is, I want to wait, I want to see interest rates drop. So there's always the math that helps you get to the numbers that makes it make sense now. So
what are these key factors? Pricing, inventory, sales are slowing, high interest rates, and then regional differences, obviously, Metro Detroit versus up north. There were a lot of sales of more vacation homes too because of the interest rates. So prices are, again, balancing out. It's taking a little bit longer to sell. So what does that mean for both buyers and sellers? Well, for buyers, the market, again, is becoming more balanced. So that is great for a said buyer, offering opportunities and less intense competition. If you were in the buying pool in 2020, hey, you put in a lot of offers. You lost a lot of deals. So that stuff happened in 2020. Now you don't have to worry. Now it may be, depending on where you're buying, you may get a little bit of competition, but it's not as intense. And we as realtors can think of competitive ways to help write your offers so that you can win it in a competitive market. Because I do still think it's a little bit competitive, but just not as crazy as 30 offers on one house. It may be more 3 or 4 on one said house, depending on pricing, obviously. And again, that goes back to you sellers. Pricing makes a world of difference.
Yes.
Every single time.
Yes.
And then for sellers, the market is still going strong. So you don't have to worry. Everything is still going up. It's just going up a little bit slow. You know that little crank you get on a roller coaster? That's where it's at. We used to be where it was shooting and it was going super fast, on the way down the roller coaster. Now we're at the point where we're going up the roller coaster. It's happening a little bit slower. So that's it.
In COVID times, 2020, your appreciation was going up like this. Now your appreciation is still happening. It's just going a little bit slower, maybe a little bit less of a steep angle. So you're still getting appreciation, and that goes back to my other point that I just talked about. The longer you wait, the more things that add up to be a negative towards reasonings as to why you shouldn't wait. You should just figure it out now. You always get appreciation more often than not. Statistically speaking, you almost always have an appreciation outside of a couple thousand or financial small time periods of crises.
So to answer your question, are real estate sales dropping in Michigan?
Hell no. Ta-da-na-na-na. Hell nah.
So you got your answer from Trevor Brit.